So ABS CBN is back in the news today. What's happening? What is the news telling us? And what are the technical analysis charts showing us as well? What should you do if you own the stock? What should you do if you have cash? Should you buy or should you avoid the stock right now? That and more in this video. So check this video out. Hi everyone, this is Marvin German. I'm a stock market trader and investor, and I talk about investments, the stock market, trading, entrepreneurship, and a lot of other things that will help you reach your goals of financial freedom. So if you're new to this channel, please subscribe and smash that bell so you get updated every time I come up with new content about making you reach your goals of financial freedom. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe and stay till the end of the video so you see all of this juicy stuff about trading and investing, particularly in ABS CBN. Hey guys, so a lot of news broke today with regards to ABS CBN. Before I begin my analysis and before we begin breaking the news, I just like to point out this is not a political post. I do not make political news items or strategies. All I do is just collect and also analyze companies that are connected to the stock market. And since ABS CBN is a listed company, there's a lot of things that could go on in terms of its stock price based on what happens in the news. So let's see. Just to give you a preview, Callida went and filed a petition, a quo warranto position about ABS CBN, and they want to void or revoke its franchise. So let me read this first. I'll try to put the graphic here while reading it so you guys also get full context. So February 10, 2020, OSG files a petition for quo warranto versus ABS CBN as Supreme Court to forfeit legislative franchise. The Office of the Solicitor General, where Callida is, led by Solicitor General Jose Callida, they filed a petition for quo warranto at the Supreme Court to forfeit the legislative franchises of ABS CBN Corporation, ABS, and its subsidiary ABS CBN Convergence Inc. We want to put an end to what we discovered to be a highly abusive practices of ABS CBN, benefiting a greedy few at the expense of millions of its loyal subscribers. These practices have gone unnoticed or were disregarded for years, Callida said. According to the OSG, its petition will show that ABS CBN has been broadcasting for a fee which is beyond the scope of its legislative franchise. Further, the media giant hiding behind an elaborately crafted corporate veil has been allowing foreign investors to take part in the ownership of the Philippine mass media entity in gross violation of foreign interest restriction of mass media provided under Section 11, Article 16 of the Constitution. ABS CBN abused the privilege granted by the state when it launched and operated a pay-per-view channel in ABS CBN TV Plus, the KBO channel, without prior approval or permit from the NTC, National Telecommunications Commission. While it is true that broadcasting is a business, the welfare of the people must not be sacrificed in pursuit of profit, Callida said. Further, like Rapper, ABS CBN has issued Philippine Deposit Receipts, PDRs, through ABS CBN Holdings Corporation to foreigners in violation of the foreign ownership restriction on mass media in the Constitution. Section 11, Article 16 of the Constitution provides that the ownership of and management of mass media shall be limited to citizens of the Philippines or to corporations, cooperatives, associations wholly owned and managed by such citizens. This implies that mass media companies operating in the Philippines must be 100% Filipino-owned because they play an integral role in the nation's economic, political, and socio-economic landscape, says the Solicitor General. On the other hand, ABS CBN Convergence Incorporated, formerly Multimedia Telephony Inc., resorted to an ingenious corporate layering scheme in order to transfer its franchise without the necessary congressional approval. It also failed to publicly offer any outstanding capital stock to the Securities and Exchange Commission within the Philippines within 5 years from the start of its operations, which is an indispensable condition of the franchise. The legislative franchises of ABS CBN and its subsidiary, ABS CBN Converge Inc., must be revoked. A franchise is a special privilege granted by the state and should be restricted only to entities with which faithfully adhere to our constitution and the laws. This is what Callida said. So this is what ABS CBN responded with. I'll put the link here as well. Comment below so far. What are your thoughts on this, and how do you think this will impact the company and the stock moving forward? As you all know, March will be the end of its franchise, and as of today, as of this video, there hasn't been any approval yet by Congress to have ABS CBN franchise extended or to renew its franchise. So as you all know, the overhanging fruit from that perspective is its renewal into having its own franchise this March. That's been one of the biggest deterrents for some investors as well. But if you look at it from a macro perspective also, traditional media isn't it's not where it was before. A lot of the attention has shifted. Like, you guys are watching this in YouTube instead of watching this in TV Patrol. That's how things have shifted. Traditional media as a whole has started to decline. So from a macro perspective, that's an overhanging fruit for ABS-CBN. Then you have its renewal of its franchise. But let's see how they replied into all of this. This is ABS CBN's response. You can see this all over the web. I'll put the graphic here. So ABS CBN said this: the Office of the Solicitor General filing a quo warranto case against ABS CBN on alleged violations of its franchise appear to be an effort to shut down ABS CBN to the serious prejudice of many Filipinos who rely on the network for news, entertainment, and public service. The allegations cited by the Office of the Solicitor General in his press statement are without merit. ABS CBN complies with all pertinent laws governing its franchise and has secured all necessary government and regulatory approvals for its business operations. All our broadcast offerings, including KBO, have received the necessary government and regulatory approvals and are not prohibited by our franchise. ABS-CBN Holdings PDRs were evaluated and approved by the SEC and the PSE prior to its public offering. These are the same instruments used by broadcast companies to raise capital for improvement of its services. The ownership of ABS-CBN and ABS-CBN Convergence was undertaken under the same law and structures that have been utilized by other telecommunications companies. These are the transfers that are approved under the Philippine Public Telecommunications Policy Act and are fully compliant with law. We reiterate that everything we do is in accordance with the law. We did not violate the law. The case appears to be an attempt to deprive the Filipinos of the services of ABS-CBN. KBO remains one of the cheapest forms of entertainment that we can provide the public, and capital we have raised from the PDRs has enabled us to provide services to nearly 90% of the Philippines and to our OFWs around the world. Our work with ABS-CBN Convergence supports the government policy of finding ways to bring down the cost of internet access. The Senate, the House of Representatives, and the executive branch have assured the public that our franchise will be allowed to go through the proper renewal process in a fair manner. To the end, the filing of the quo warranto case is ill-timed given that Congress has already resumed its session. We remain committed to our mission to serve the Filipino people, especially at this time when millions of Filipinos rely on our services in delivering information such as the 2019 NCOV ARD and developments in the Middle East, updates on Taal volcano situation as they relate to our countrymen. So that's ABS statement. So you have the Solicitor General filing the case saying that they violated the law, and ABS-CBN saying, defending their stance that everything was done above board and everything was done in accordance to the law. Now, let's see what the charts are telling us. But before that, also, I want to put a graphic here as well. This is ABS-CBN as of 2:22 p.m. today. As you all know, this video will be uploaded at night, but as of 2:22 p.m. today, the stock is down 6.6 pesos. It's down 2.35% already for the day. But here's what I want to do. I'm going to show you the charts as well, because as you all know, everything we need to know is found in the charts. Everything we need to know is found in technical analysis. So from an intraday perspective, it being down 2% already just shows us that hey, people are a bit negative already. Investors are a bit negative to it. But let's see if there's some sort of change, or there was a specific move in terms of price action, and was there a reversal signal that should have caused people to buy. Alright, so comment below if you're learning from all of this. Comment below if this is something that's interesting for all of you. And you know, that's how interesting the market is. The market is so interesting because what you see in the news, what you see in politics, what you see in business, what you see in what happens in the macro, what happens in China, what happens in NCOV, sort of affects not just the business side of things but also the sentiment side. And as you all know, the stock market in terms of movement on a day-to-day basis is predominantly based on a sentiment perspective, that the company may be good, the company may be earning, but if sentiment is not there, buyers won't be there. If buyers won't be there, you can expect downward movements of the company and of the stock as well. So that being said, let's look at ABS CBN. I'll still show you the long-term perspective that's still pretty much from its highs in 2015 of having it around 60 plus pesos per share. It's pretty much battered down. It's down 2/3 of where it was before. And if you draw a trend line here, I made several videos about this. You can just search it. You can just search my other videos that I said that this was the massive downtrend. Then after that, it started to consolidate. Its consolidation pattern looked like this, with this as its support and resistance levels, and this as another support level. So from a long-term perspective, you see a resistance at the 24.75 level, which as of today it hasn't broken. Number two, 21 peso level, which it hasn't broken still. Then these are the ranges where it has sort of formed as a support already over the past few weeks. 14.7, which is its lowest. Then you have the 16.9 level support. So let's zoom in just to have a better view of how things are going. As you can see also, the largest resistance that we need to watch out for is the 21 peso level. Failure to break off of that 21 level is what caused the downward move here. And you also have the 200-day moving average acting as a resistance at this point in time. So that being said, ABS CBN being down 2% means that if I would look at its movement at 16.60, it means that it's already over here, that it started to break down again. So if it started to break down again at 16.60, it most likely is over here. You have a red candle over here, meaning it went down below the 16.917 peso support level. A breakdown is again activated, and should more negative movement continue or a more negative sentiment follow, a possible progression of it going back here to the 14.8 level may happen as well. So here's what I want to tell you from a support and resistance perspective. Because of the breakdown that we have today, the possible narrative for ABS CBN is that a breakdown from the 16.9 level could just make it challenge and go back to the 14.8 level. I don't know. My goal is I never try to speculate. I never try to guess on how things are or where it could possibly go based on the news. But what I do know is this. The macro perspective, if ABS CBN cannot pivot and it cannot derive most of its earnings from a digital space because traditional is starting to slow down, they're gonna get hit. If they don't get their franchise renewal, they will have a significant loss in terms of their earnings march moving forward. If this quo warranto status gets pushed even further, their franchise could get revoked. But if you notice it, we're just a few weeks away before March naman, meaning if their franchise gets revoked on this and there's really no intention that they get extended or they get renewed, then it really won't have much bearing. But what it does is it provides more negative sentiment, causing more sellers to just sell it as low as it can be and causing buyers to shy away from whatever's happening. So that's where we are right now. No positive news yet. But what I'll tell you is this: if you're not following the news, just please pay close attention to the 21 peso level and the 25 peso level. Breakout from 21 and 25 could show significant buying, and from a tech point of view, that's what people are looking at. From a tech point of view, it's buyers that bring prices higher as well. So I hope you guys got a lot from this. Comment below if you have more questions about ABS CBN, if you have anything that you would like to add into all of this, and I'll try to make more videos off of that as well. And that's it. If you have any other stocks also that you want me to analyze, just put the stocks below and I'll try to make new videos off of that. And if you have anything that you'd like me to talk about more also regarding ABS CBN, I'll try to put that in as well. And if you're new to this, super appreciated if you could subscribe, like, comment, hit the bell so you get updated every time I create a new video. And if all of this looks like jargon to all of you, I have seminars all in the description below where I teach you how you can trade the markets, how you can use stock charts, and how you can trade with confidence as well. The cities where I will be in, I'll be in Taiwan this week, Then in March, I'll be having Stock Smarts Manila. April, London. May, Doha, Qatar, and Singapore. June, we're having Auckland, New Zealand. July, we're having Sydney, Australia. And November, we're having Tokyo, Japan, and Dubai as well. They're all in the description below. I also have online seminars. They're in the description if you guys want to join that. And for those who wanna grab a copy of my books, they're all available via Shopee. They can be delivered via the links that I have below as well. So I guess that's it. Comment below. We're at the 15-minute mark. I wanted to know if you guys stayed up until this point in time, and if this is something that added value to all of you, because as you all know, I just want to add as much value to you guys as possible, and that's how we start winning, when we see Filipinos really taking the time to study, really taking the time to leverage more on information, because at the end of the day, the more you know, the better financial decisions you will make as well. So this is Marvin Germo. I hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. See you all again soon, guys, and God bless you all.